Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Salutations to all Mahatmas, brothers and sisters. We are deeply grateful to Gurudev for having brought us here and made us to dwell on the various aspects of sannyas. The topic that came up in the mind was trying to understand sannyas in the modern context. For the past 2 days, he gave us the prompting to dwell on the various aspects so that we get more and more clarity about it. And he made us also aware that those who have been spontaneously prompted to take to a particular line of lifestyle with self-imposed disciplines, to them these thoughts may not be necessary. But for others, especially those who are householders, professionals, social beings, individuals, it might help us to get more and more clarity. Because the moment we hear about the word sannyas, the moment we think about a saint, the first and foremost thing that comes to us is that it is different from this common run of life. Yes, to some extent, for some period, it might be necessary to shift our priority to something nobler, something higher than the one on which we are now concentrating. But at the same time, God is universal. God's creations are universal. Whatever that has been brought here in the form of Mother Nature and creature comfort by society, they are universal. So everything should be universal. And nobody insists that it should be in this way, in that way. So we are trying to understand with that background. So ultimate aim, the ultimate goal to be scaled, the ideal, if it is becoming clearer to us, probably we may not have any preconditioned notion about sannyas. Yesterday we found that the ultimate end and aim of our life is to reach a stage where there is absence of otherness. We have found in the lives of all spiritually evolved souls that nothing is there on themselves. The self-centeredness is zero. Selflessness is the outcome. And they think, talk and do in terms of universal, not in terms of individual. If we start concentrating upon it, what method we pursue does not matter. Each one is unique God has given us a unique equipment. So each one's method to become aware of His presence also should be unique. We cannot follow any method. Initially we follow some method, then we try to chalk out or draft out our own method. That is why saints, the approach of saints are different from one another. But ultimately we find in all of them this absence of otherness is writ large. So people who don't come under the category of taking to the usual traditional way of sannyas, to them this can be dwelt upon, reflected upon. How am I to reach the absence of otherness? Whether I am in this dress or any other dress, the outcome, the result of all my activities should be oriented in such a way that it shifts itself from the individual to universal. Parampuji Papa used to mention, this could be one of the thoughts, that there is no divide between material life and spiritual life. At the moment we feel material life and spiritual life are opposed to each other. But we now, later on when we start going deeper into it, we know that they are the two sides of the same coin. Because matter has come from the spirit, spirit becomes expressive through matter. It is through the imperishable that we try to know about the imperishable. All the raw material like the 5 elements, that also came from the Creator only. In Upanishads, we have elaborately understood that. So that is the base raw material for anything and everything. And he gives a prompting to a selected people, whom we call as scientists, to look at this with a different attitude and then probe deep into it and bring out through combinations, multiplications, various things that become useful, that makes our life comfortable. So he is giving the matter also, he is giving the intelligence also. Even in the normal parlance we use, that for anything to be created, there should be 3 causes. One is the material cause, second is the instrumental cause, and the third one is the intelligence cause. Though in all our activity these are separate, we try to understand now that everything has come from that power. If everything has come from that power, how can it be inimical, incompatible? Certainly not. When we attach ourselves from the individual standpoint, there is a divide between material and spiritual. Even a scientist has to, for the scientific revelations to come out, we need an individual, And the individual is not made up of flesh, bones, blood, etc. He is what he is because of the spirit within him. And the spirit within him is prompting to discover, invent and innovate so many things. Prior to coming to ashram, we were associating ourselves with coffee plantation. By practice, we raise the seedling, we nurture it for a couple of years, and then we try to plant it, and then there are various cultural operations that are to be carried out systematically for 3-4 years. And from 5th year or 6th year, the economic bearing starts. And then we have to continue the operations. Then once when we started going deeper into it, there should be a person, no? Coffee is a berry, you might be knowing that. Coffee is a berry, it's a gift of Mother Nature. We don't know when was the first berry came. So we go to Bijam Mam Sarvabhutanam. So it is from him only it has come. That unknown factor. And then he made that unknown factor made some individual to look at the berry. We don't know how far what we have heard is right. But one story behind it is that in Ethiopia, when one person was taking care of the goats and he was passing through a hilly area, goats have got a tendency to taste every fruit. And he found of the whole thing, one became totally dynamic and active. So the inquisitiveness came in this person to find out what made it more active. And when he traced back, he saw in one plant something is chewed and brought down. So they say this is the key, coffee. Because this man started thinking, it has got a stimulating power. So how to make use of it? And from there, in brief I will tell you, the berry will be there. Berry has to be plucked. Once in a year only you get the crop. It has to be plucked, dried, and when it reaches a certain stage, when the husk gets separated from the bean, seed, you put it in the huller, get it separated, and then roast it, tickle the aroma which is lying latent in it, and then powder it, and then put it in the filter, get the decoction, take 1 spoon with all other things, 1 cup of coffee is there on your table. So many people started. But we started from Bijam Mam Sarvabhutanam. Buddhir Buddhivadamasmi. Through that probing nature, intelligence. So everything has come from that. So material, then there is a science behind. Everything is based on science. Puja Swami Ranganathanji used to mention in his universal message of the Bhagavad Gita, in the light of modern thoughts and modern needs. Beautiful word. Everything is a verified truth. That is science, which is verifiable by all of us. The verified truth is given to us. We need not follow it. We also verify that so that it becomes a part of us. Puja Swami Chidanji Maharaj, in one of his morning talks, we have read that he says daily life and daily sadhana. Daily sadhana, we try to assimilate all these things. But there should be a field for us to test and verify. So that it becomes our own. Otherwise it becomes academic. It is a knowledge, that's all. So if it has to become an applied science, then these things should follow, So it is verifiable truth. If we simply continue to recite that, it will not help. So we coffee planters then, we don't just be guided by that, we always think how to improve each and every line. Instead of 10 branches, in 10 branches suppose it gets a cluster of say 100 seeds. How am I to improve the productivity, the intelligence part? And there is a science following it. And we experiment, we try, there may be trial and error method, and finally we improve the productivity. Everything has come from this formula. So when we hear that spiritual law, spiritual science and material science are two sides of the same coin, we should reach a stage where we know that they have come from one. So in an ordinary language you can say, sannyas helps us to know this truth so that there will be a harmonious blend of these two. When we go through the biographies of saints after having scaled the heights, it is not the theory that they are telling. It is the practical demonstration of moving from the individual to the universal, absence of otherness. Today we were going through a few portions from the biographies of Gurudev. No? A few portions. Plenty of it from plenty of Mahatmas. No. So all that point out that the end and aim of it is to move from the individual to the universal. For that there should be a harmonious blend. So all Grihasthas, professionals, social being, what do they want in life? In simple words we can put harmony at home, harmony at workplace, harmony with friends. Harmony at home, harmony at workplace, harmony with friends. If we have to ensure harmony at all levels, what should be my method? The simple method is not asserting the me and mine. Trying to understand that everything has got a relevance in this scheme of things. Nothing is unimportant, nothing is irrelevant, nothing is insignificant. Nobody is irrelevant, nobody is unimportant, nobody is insignificant. Suppose we start trying. Everything has come from that origin. Everything has come from this one origin, and that origin or the root or the source, it becomes expressive in the form of power, subtle and mysterious power, life force, consciousness or awareness, and intelligence. We have to keep on thinking about it. Because the moment we hear the word sannyas, the first is renouncing everything. And the real test of renunciation is what? The me and mine, When we change this dress, it is not that we will be free from possessions. We have to handle possessions. We have to handle human relationship. But there is a change in the norm. Previously it was all connected to the me and mine. Now it is connected to we and us. That's all. Previously it was based on the individual. Now we are trying to base it on universal. Why? Because it has come from the same origin. And the same origin is being expressed in so many forms. That is why the air is available for everybody. Space is available for everybody. Water is available for everybody. Sun is available for everybody. The constitution of the body is all same. The organs, the 200 and odd organs which were gifted to us during when I was there in the form of a seed in my mother's womb. The same power which was responsible as a seed in me has also blessed me with these 200 and odd organs during that 9.5 months period in my mother's womb. And when I came out, I did not bring anything. Whatever is needed for me for my very basic existence and whatever that makes my life comfortable have all come from not me. When I know this, how can this me and mine dominate me? Each and everything keeps on reminding me I am there to help you. When we leave the chapel, suppose haphazardly when we leave, we are not recognizing it as a gift of God. Many of you may not know Malayalam, but still we are prompted to say that word. When we were all studying, this was taught to us. Paraparatman bhaktyabigamyan bhavane yar kanmu charajara premanjanamizhidina chakshussillanyal. Parasukhame sukhamenikku niyadam paradukham dukham paramarthathil paranum jnanum bhavanum onnalli. Bhavan adeenam paramen udalum prananum avarendum pararthamakuga pagalum ravum prabho namaskaram. This is the last line of that famous poem of Ullur S. Parameshwariyar. It was titled as Prema Sangeetam. It was taught to us many decades back, but it is still fresh. You know why? Universal truth. How can you see the common denominator if you don't develop for the animate and inanimate creation? Paraparatman bhaktyabigamyan bhavane yar kanmu charajara premanjanam ezhudina. Charangalodum acharangalodum. Moving and non-moving. If we don't have the, what do you call it? Anjanam. When you have not applied this on your eyes, if you do, collyrium, exactly. Collyrium. If you don't have that collyrium of love, how can you see him? In fact, ultimately we will come to know that he, me, and the other are one. And then last line he says, you have given me utalum prananum. Both life and this body you have given, make it useful for the co-creations. But all these things have been condensed in that, no? Paraparatman bhaktyabigamyan bhavane yar kanmu charajara premanjanam ezhudina chakshussillanyal. Parasukhame sukhamenikku niyadam paradukham dukham. Somebody's happiness is my happiness. Somebody's sorrow is my sorrow. In fact, Paramarthathil, Paranum, the other person, Jnanum, Bhavanum, Onnalli. And I am subservient to you, Bhavan Adeenam, Paraman Udalum Prananum, body as well as the spirit behind it. Make it useful for the service of my co-creations. If this gets stamped in our heart, the onslaught or dominance of me and mine will gradually get reduced, and that will help us to move from the individual to the universal, which is what ultimately a sannyasa points out. So then spiritual science, so material, we don't say it is bad. When only I appropriate to myself, when exclusively I am attached to myself, when I become a slave to the other self, then it becomes a hindrance. When I know it has been given to me for passing it on, I am a conduit pipe to be passed on to others and to be kept for some time and passed on to others, because the right person, he will bring it and ask him to claim it. So the sense of possession does not come, and the equality slowly develops in our mind. Previously we were identifying with a small family to take care of their men. Now we slowly expand the family, in which the old family is also there, not that they are not there. Because when we understand through every form, we all chant here, Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva, Tvameva Bandhu cha Sakha Tvameva, Tvameva Vidya Dribinam Tvameva, Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. When we keep on repeating it, where is the question of dividing this? The only thing is, previously I was thinking my son, my wife, my mother, my father, my brother. Now I know God has placed me in this family to serve first them, then the community, then the nation and the world at large. I must start from somewhere. If I get stuck to my body and my intellect, my relation, then it rebounds on me. But when I start slowly expanding the love circle, there should be a starting point, and the family life provides that wonderful opportunity. We remember reverently, even today, our mother, father, elders, they have all contributed, na? Not in terms of relationship. And we remember the teachers, the co-students, and when suppose we are professionals, we remember the colleague, the boss, the customer, with this bhavana. And every day, yesterday we were remembering about Papa's quotation, no? We try to integrate that. The world we live in is a school in which observation and experience offer us immense possibilities for self-improvement. The estate, coffee estate where we were working, it was owned by a Jain. Many of these spiritual values we saw in close quarters in his very life. Suppose we are traveling by jeep or car, say about after 5:30 or 6 o'clock, when the headlight is on, naturally the flies will start coming. And on those days, it will get stuck in the radiator. Immediately he will stop, jump out, try to save as much as possible. So I used to ask him, you know very well that when we drive towards this, naturally the flies will get attracted. And some of it will get stuck. What is the use of your saving this much? Immediately, spontaneously he replied, it is true, we should not have started, but we were forced to leave the place. And unfortunately, it happened to be this Sandhya. But we can save as much as we can, It was a big lesson for us. To the extent possible, we can raise ourselves, stretching ourselves to that flies. Like that, so many things, all of us, when we look back our own life, God has been teaching us through our father, mother, brothers, sisters, elders, teachers, friends, in every place. When we look at a rose, there are thorns, there are flowers. If we concentrate upon the flower, we get benefited. If we concentrate on the thorns, we lose the bliss we get on seeing the flower. So let us try now. Let us try to become positive so that our journey toward the end will also become smooth. And he is parading before us. He is not quoting any shastras. Just like yesterday we remembered Vinobaji's mothers, unlettered. We were staying alone for some time, and at that time only one person was with us to assist us. He is an elderly person, unlettered person. So on those days there was no gas. We had to cook with the firewood. So blackish, carbon, that will be there on the lower side of the vessel when we cook for rice or sambar or something. So this person used to do the vessel cleaning. And he has got his own formula. A little bit of sand, a little bit of brick powder, a little bit of ashes, and the outer portion of the coconut, that rough. And with that he will do this. So I used to come out and tell him, again I am going to place the same one on the oven. So why do you take so much pain to remove? He will not. The moment it is clean, it will look as if, there is not a single spot of blackness. Then he was telling, you do whatever you like. But when I am given this job, I should do this. Perfection. Perfection, uncompromising perfection. Because every work, as we saw yesterday, everything he was turning into yoga. He is teaching us not by hearing Bhagavad Gita. Then later on when we go to the Bhagavad Gita, we find, oh, everywhere he brings that. Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam. When we read that Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam, at that time we try to understand it academically. But here, right from the stage, an unlettered person does everything perfectly. He doesn't expect our certificate, our acknowledgement, anything like that. Even when we say, what you are going to do, again you will have to do tomorrow. That is for tomorrow, no? This had happened 50 years back, but still, he is before us, teaching us. So all these things put together, we know that there is, suppose we try to understand that everything has come from one source, and just because of it, everything is available for everybody. So there is no justification if I think in terms of me and mine. To the extent possible, I try to expand my love circle. And saints and Mahatmas are those who have expanded this and shown us that the ultimate aim is to become one with the Creator through His creation. Ultimately to become Atman, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. That stage comes only when you become one with it, not that you are in a cave and declaring it. You go to the cave to understand this and come out and see, oh, he is not only inside as the indwelling reality, but he is also as the all-pervading reality. So I cannot appropriate to myself. I have to appropriate, but as much as possible I will try to share it with others. And in their life they are showing us, this is possible, this is possible, this is possible. It is not a tall talk. It's not an utopian dream. It is not an imagination. It is 100% practical. That is why we are often asked to go through the biographical sketches of masters. In any field, wherever they are there, in that any field, we call it a celebrite, It has come out either of any of these values are more explicit in them. So then there are 2, 3, 4 things that have come up. One is there is no divide between spiritual and material. There is no divide between. So because when there is no spiritual and material, everything is spiritual. Everything has started from spiritual. From the spirit only the matter has come. But matter is relevant because only through matter the presence of the spirit is realized. We have been told that we are the combination of 5 elements. In Atma Bodh, Adi Shankara clearly mentions about the 3 bodies in which he clearly cites what is gross body, what is subtle body, what is causal body. Beautifully he brings. Then we start trying to, where from it came. The only thing is we are unable to understand is that causal body. Because he himself says, Anadi avidya anirvachya karano padiruchyate. Upadi tritayamanyam atmanam avatariyat. Then he also finally says, don't worry, this Atman is beyond these 3. So that for the time being we are unable to get the answer. Where from this separation started? How did I forget my original nature and started transacting with the world as an individual, gathering so many limitations upon myself and imprisoning myself in the toils of individualism. And then one fine morning he awakens through a spiritual preceptor and makes me to come out of it. Why? Then we don't get the answer. Then spiritual preceptors say, if you follow this, it is anirvachya, no, it cannot be explained, but you will realize it. So based upon their word, so the method they have given to us is expand yourself. What is preventing us from identifying with it, what is preventing us from getting out of the sense of limitation is that. So what is needed is to reach a state where we don't feel any otherness. We have seen many people following a particular method, many people following a different method. But when we try to take out their words of wisdom, their life, their inspiring life and mission, we find the same rings out from all. From the limited to the unlimited, individual to the universal, from finite to the infinite. There is a beautiful quotation of Papa. The sense of otherness sets limit to the illimitable. Sense of otherness sets limit to the illimitable. So because of my ignorance, I am imposing this limitation on the illimitable. So my ultimate end and aim of my life is to get rid of this. So what we choose, it should be according to our swabhava, swadharma. Different methods. We used to wonder when Adi Shankara brought out this Dashanama Samskari, why should Dashanama? One, he knows different tastes, different types, different approaches are necessary. Even in a particular form, different forms are necessary. Otherwise, there is only one, but if it is only one, why so many systems? And coming back to Swami Chidanji Maharaj's words, daily life and daily sadhana. So in order that I move towards the sense of otherness, God provides me various fields. I am not creating the field. So the field is also created by Him, and He puts me on a test. For that, He makes me to do the sadhana. So whatever I assimilate in my disciplines, in my swadhyaya, in my various other self-imposed restrictions, self-denials, there should be a field for me to test and make it my own, from the academical level to the practical level. And this field is given. It is a beautiful article to ponder over deeply, and then when we tally it with our own life, then it becomes very clear to us. Otherwise it remains as academics, a theory. But when we hear this, daily life and daily sadhana, both are necessary. Daily life is necessary, otherwise how will I test myself? Something is given to me, whether I develop an attachment toward that possession, or when somebody comes and asks whether I have the same attitude to pass it on to others, that field is not created by me. He provides me a field to test myself. Oh, absence of otherness comes out in this form. So every time we hear something, yesterday when we were hearing the 8th chapter, Mamubetya Punarjanmam Dukkalayam Ashashvatam. Or even in Bhajagovindam we have heard, Nalini Dalakata Jalamati Taralam Tattvajjeevitam Adishiya Chapalam Viddivyat Abhimanagrastam Lokam Shokahatam Cha Samastam. These two stanzas make us realize how ephemeral, the ephemerality of the world. Do we develop dispassion toward that by hearing it? Think. No. When we develop dispassion, which is also inherent in all of us. Only thing is we shift our priority to from one object to another object to another object to another object. But in that process, the other one gets deleted. But do we get totally dejected with this? No. Dukkalayam ashashvatam or lokam shokagatam cha samastam, though we are reading, these are the words of Lord Krishna and Adi Shankaracharya. So we don't doubt. But why is it that we have not developed that dispassion? We hear that. Do we develop? No. But the real success of reaching the height comes only when this goes inside, I should not get myself attached to anything that is ephemeral. I should get attached only everything that is eternal. Shashwatam. Is it possible? No. So I have to devise an altogether different method. This dispassion has not taken deep root in me in spite of my knowledge. Because of my previous prarabdha, or what you call vasanas, or because of too much of habits, getting habituated with its association, we don't know that. But though we hear, though we know, one day this will also go away, but still we don't get detached from it. So we have to use another method. To those of whom this dispassion has taken deep root, no problem. To others, to withdraw from the ephemeral to the eternal, we must devise some method, and that method could be trying to reach absence of otherness. Going to the root of our existence, root of everything that we see. Everything has come out from that root. So we have no claim. We have no absolute claim. Relative claim we have. When we are in the administration of this ashram, we have to take care of this. There is a relative possessiveness, there is a relative responsibility there, not absolute. He has entrusted this, we have to take care. And there is a dharma to conduct. We cannot violate that dharma. But we know that it is he who has given. So these are all some of the important points that Gurudev is touching and kindling in us, especially when the 1st June 2024 approaches, which is celebrated as the Sannyas centenary. So now he is trying to make us, at all levels, everybody can become a sannyasi. Everybody is sannyasi. Some are trying to understand, some have realized, some have not at all given any importance to it. But basically, intrinsically, essentially, all are that. Why? Because we are his children. Shrunnvandu Vishve Amritasya Putra. Vivekananda roared, that's Upanishadic words. We are all Amritasya Putra, so we are all that. But we don't know that. So we are all now trying. On this auspicious occasion, he is touching and kindling the various possible methods by which we can move towards the awareness of his presence in us, which will result in bringing the entire creation into our love circle. The quality, care and concern for all is writ large in our mind. The me and mine gets reduced to the minimum. As long as we maintain this body, something is needed, accepted. But to the barest minimum. We cannot avoid the air, we cannot avoid the water, we cannot avoid a simple food, a simple clothing, a simple requisites. So with the theory of parimiti parigraha, we will be able to do that. So this is what we are being touched, kindled and made known. And it is possible? Yes. It is taught to us by ordinary people. Provided we have the eyes to see. We were telling about the coffee estate, In the coffee estate, we have got laborers are there, staffs are there. More than 200, 250 laborers and about 50 to 60 staffs. So when there is a delinquency in their work, even after so many warnings, if they don't respond to it, according to the statute, there are certain disciplinary action to be taken. So this, when we were working with the Jain, we are telling the practicality, So naturally, the mandatory provisions like show cause, suspension, domestic inquiry, and then finally dismissal. And then they prefer a complaint to the labor office. We go there, representing the management. When we go with our vehicle on the gate, the worker who has been dismissed will also be waiting. We take him. We discuss so many things excepting this. And when we go there, he sits on the other side and asks for reinstatement. We say, sorry. A lot of arguments will take place. And the officer will put for the consideration for the next date. When we come out, we ask him, where are you to be dropped? Then we tell him, because this is what the Jain taught us. He said, we are punishing only for the wrong thing that has been done, keeping our love for the individual intact. So no biased vision comes, no prejudice comes, the quality, care and concern for the individual remains intact. And so we have been asked to explain to him that if 200 laborers decide that this is right, can we run the organization? Suppose you have done something and you feel sorry. That is enough, we can condone. But you justified, you keep on justifying. If everybody keeps justifying, suppose you are sitting here, will you be able to run? We give this food for thought. And after some time, initially they will not hear. But later on when they know that we don't mix up the relationship between what we are doing, then slowly they get convinced and finally they come, withdraw their cases, go for cash settlement, and when they don't get any work for another 5-6 months, they come back, we give them work. It was a wonderful eye-opener for us when he said that. He said, anybody, if you do that, you will also be subjected to this. So how detached at the same time action is there? So is it practically possible? Yes, it is practically possible. To save as much of flies when we go at 6 o'clock, It is possible? Yes. So much, so good, We can't say it is impractical. It is nothing is impracticable. Only probably the degree may change. 25%, 50%, 75%, 90%, 10%. So whatever is possible, it is a test given to us by the Almighty to know whether what you have learned is applied in the way it should be applied. We all remember so many such incidents that authenticates what the scriptures say. So it is the other way. First we see the experience, then tally it with what we have heard from the scriptures and know that it is real. But if I first learn, probably it might remain at the intellectual level. But when it is rooted through an experience, it gets stamped in our mind. And when we hear the slogas, every sloga is pregnant with this sublime principle. We immediately are reminded. So we are deeply grateful to Gurudev, who is in the form of remembrance in our heart, for having given us this wonderful opportunity for the last 3 days to dwell on this in a beautiful, serene atmosphere on the banks of Ganga and in this holy ashram, where Gurudev's presence is intensely felt, because everywhere we look, we will see some boards, some writings of the Master, which draws us again back to this center. Everywhere when we go through that, if we take a notebook and start recording it, we will find everything points out to expansion of love circle, absence of otherness, quality, care and concern for others, reduction of me and mine, identifying the common denominator, the originator, the root, and so it keeps on coming back to us. And sannyas the word sannyas comes because his life, any Mahatma's life and his life, when we keep on going through that, we find what has become expressive is nothing but this. Everything is in terms of universal, never in terms of individual. So we pray to him to bless us with intensity in our mind, to live up to what is expected of us, so that our journey becomes smooth and fast, and ultimately become one with him as the Spirit, one with him as the co-creation. And thank you all very much for patiently, attentively joining with us, and also for revered Swamijis who have facilitated this wonderful opportunity for us. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Om. Sadgurunada Samsthavarada. Hari Om.
We are very much thankful to our revered Swamiji Maharaj, His Holiness Sri Swami Muktananda Maharaj of Ananda Ashram of Papa Ramdas. So we express our grateful thanks to His Holiness for having given us these 3 days talks on the necessity of sannyas in the modern context. This was because this happens to be Gurudev's centenary year of his own sannyas. We have been celebrating that, observing it, and as a part of that, we also had the great opportunity of hearing from most revered His Holiness Sri Swami Muktananda Maharaj about the sannyas in the modern context. Swamiji Maharaj very nicely brought out very important aspects of sannyasa and how it is relevant to us, and how he also mentioned that what is the implication real implication of sannyas. What will be the outlook of a sannyasi? A sannyasi should not have any otherness, and he should also feel that the whole universe, it is the manifestation of God Almighty, God Himself, and it is a manifestation of the universal being. And so Swamiji Maharaj dwelt with so many different aspects of this sannyasa. And what exactly is the real import of sannyas? How it is relevant to everybody. And he also said that it is not just wearing the ochre cloth, but it is a mental outlook, mental view and vision, what the sannyasi is supposed to have it while he is living in this world. So Swamiji Maharaj very nicely, beautifully in his talks, he brought out the very important aspects of sannyasa and how we should see it, have a look at it from the modern point of view. It was very, very helpful, very nice, and quite illuminating also. So we express our grateful thanks to revered Swamiji Maharaj, His Holiness Sri Swami Muktananda Maharaj. We have been very much benefited and uplifted by the illuminating talks of revered Swamiji Maharaj. So we express our grateful thanks to our revered Swami Muktananda Maharaj, His Holiness Sri Swami Muktananda Maharaj, for his kindness to share his ideas about sannyas in the modern context and how it is very much helpful and what exactly should be the view of a sannyasi and what is the actual implication of sannyas, that Swamiji Maharaj very nicely and clearly expressed. So we are grateful to our revered Sri Swami Muktananda Maharaj, and we express our grateful thanks to Swamiji Maharaj. Thank you very much, Swamiji Maharaj. It was so nice, very beautiful. Now, our revered Sri Swami Advaitananda Maharaj will honor our revered Sri Swami Muktananda Maharaj. Many thanks, Swamiji Maharaj. So kind of you. Very nice. We shall offer prayers for all beings and creatures of the entire universe. May all be happy, may all be free from all trouble, difficulty, sorrow and misery. May all have happiness and live comfortably and happily. And may God and Gurudev also give us the vision that the whole world, the entire universe is only a manifestation of God Himself, as Swamiji Maharaj has said, manifestation of the universal being. So may that idea and may that the thoughts always be with us, so that we look upon the entire universe, all creatures